Hello and welcome to a new BAGM mode with the Washington Capitals. Don't worry, I'm still going to be doing the Phoenix Coyotes, but I spent a fairly long amount of time updating the rosters in terms of signings. I've not changed any overrules, as I thought that would take too long, and I'm not entirely sure that I wouldn't muck everything up. So all of the teams that you're watching are just new signings and acquisitions that we'll do. And I thought I fancied a change. I've never really used Washington or a team with a star player before in any GM modes I've done ever, really, because I always like the idea of rebuilding. But I like the idea of trying to get Alexander Ovechkin that first cup, because Washington's interesting. They've got the star players, but then they don't have backup. I mean, obviously we now have Matt Niskanen and Brooks Orpik as well, so our defense is very nice now. But it's interesting. If I quickly go ahead and show you Washington's lines at the moment, we actually only have one proper centerman in our team in Nicholas Backstrom. The rest are wingers with decent face-off rating, so that is something that we need to possibly address. So let's start with the obvious. Obviously, we have Alexander Ovechkin as a 94 overall sniper. He is going to score goals, but we need to give him support and the cast around him to get him to that 50 goals and etc. We need to get him to break that 40 goal mark for the first time in a while. He should actually get a fair few assists. Everything is 5 stars apart from defense, so I don't really see a reason why we shouldn't be getting Ovechkin at least a point a game, especially if we have Backstrom. But the problem has always been, since Seven's gone, who's going to play on that first line. Well, I'm thinking Kuznetsov, because I think Kuznetsov is going to grow, and luckily Johansson's next to him. Kuznetsov is going to grow quicker than Johansson. Johansson has got a better shot, but the playmaking and senses are very similar. I suppose the advantage of having Johansson is better defensively, so it is probably going to be Johansson or Kuznetsov. But that leaves us with the problem that we need to get a second line sniper, because Brooks can play in a centre position. That's not the problem, but I'd rather have him in that third line and have Troy Bauer, Brooks and Joel Ward as our third line. But that means we need to replace Jason Chimera and Jay Beagle. And I'm pretty sure that Eric Fair is a power forward on the right wing, so we can have Wilson, Fair, and a fourth line centre. So straight away we need 4 forwards. Straight away we need to replace Chimera, Beagle, I'm not going to be able to say his name. Volapati. We need to replace Aaron. Tom Wilson's fine. He's going to get better. I like Tom Wilson. Big hard player. He can stay. That third line I've got no problem with. Don't think they'll take too many penalties. I think they're all pretty grindy and defensively sound, so that's fine. We could have that line, especially with Brooks as the centre on it. I do like that. And then we've only got Kuznetsov on the second line, because I don't want to keep Chimera on the second line. We can move him down because he is quick, and obviously Jay Beagle is not a second line player, so that is someone we need to address. So for that second line, I want to get a power forward type player and a sniper. So we get a power forward, a centre, and a sniper on the wing. Or if we get a winger power forward, I will just move Johansson down and get a sniper. But it's supposed to be something. I swear Johansson used to be a centre. Yeah, he's got 70 face-off rating, so if he needs to, he could take face-offs. And then if we look at defensively, I've just marked everything up for myself by doing that. It won't be too bad to fix, actually. Yeah. Then if we look defensively, I want to put Carl Olsner and John Carlson together. Then we'll have Green and Niskanen, Orpik and Hiller. Yeah, I do like that'll do. Our defense is fine. Could get another prospect defender to replace Jacqueline and help Brooks Orpik out, but we're going to get a lot of points from our defense. It's whether they can keep the puck out of the net as well. But Carlson and Eriksson should, Olsner and Carlson should do, and Green and Niskanen are going to score a lot of points. As a twosome down there. I have no doubt about that. Niskanen and Green will be playing well together. I think they're both American as well, yeah, so we got that connection. I'm pretty sure most of our team is American, to be fair. Or most of our defence. I think Olsen might be the only one who's not. Yeah. So we got an American defence. And obviously in goal we have Braden Holtby backed up by Justin Peters. I would like to improve on that, but I don't know how. I mean, free agency. Another good thing about making all these trades is that free agency has become more of a viable option because we only have 43 players, carried, but we do only have $1 million in salary, so we're going to have to trade somewhere. Let me show you the free agents. They are true to life. So at the moment we have White, Picknin, Alfredson, Brassard. Obviously you can tell by Pierre-Marc Brassard that I've not changed most of the ratings. Murray, Salo, Whitney, Malone. Most of these players are quite old, but then we get to an interesting player in Devin Setaguchi. Listed as a second line player. It could be about second line sniper to save us trading for one, then we can keep some more assets. Get a centre, a powerful two-way centre in. That's an option. Because we are pretty much in win now mode, I think. We're still fairly young, but we're only going to get older, and I want to get that cup as quickly as possible. So we are in win now mode. So Setaguchi would help us out, I think. More so than someone like Lena or Volsky. So I think if we are going to trade, sign a forward in terms of a winger, it will be Setaguchi at 26 years old. And if we check out these centres, there's one that I have my eye on. Obviously, Payet and Hanyus would help out that third line. We don't need a third line. I was thinking more for the fourth line of getting Andrei Lotinov. I've butchered that name. I apologise for that. But, you know, he's got that 3.5 star green potential. Good discipline. Face-offs could be better. But I think for that fourth line, he'd be fine. I thought he was a two-way forward. Or we can always go for someone like a Corey Emerton, or we could just buy an older player on 1 year contract. He's got the best defence. Someone like Michael Hanyus for that fourth line. Actually, Michael Hanyus for that fourth line is quite nice. Yeah, I think we'll try and get Hanyus or Hanzus for that fourth line. I think he will be the best option. Yes, definitely Michael Hanyus for that fourth line. And then defensively, if I show you the players by overall, obviously we have Jamie McBain, who's someone we can possibly think about signing instead of Matt Hillen. 25 years old, 4 yellow star potential. His defence is a bit lacking, but he's got a good skating and putt skills and senses, which should make up for Brooks Orpik's weaknesses, so they could combine very nicely on that fourth line. And I think he is not quite affordable just yet, but if we make a few trades and get rid of some salary, we can sign in. So we could fix the majority of our problems in free agency, and I think that might be the way to go about it, and then use some better trades to trade for better use some more pieces to trade for better players, I think, yeah, Jacqueline can go, because I'd rather have Jamie McBain playing alongside Brooks Orpik. Because Orpik's quite slow. He's definitely more of a lumbering player. He's not got the putt skills really. His discipline isn't fantastic. His shot's not fantastic. So I think a Jamie McBain would help complement him quite nicely. Because I think if we have a poor puck moving defender back there with Brooks Orpik, we're going to struggle to move the puck out of our own zone, and we won't be able to support our forwards particularly well. I think McBain needs to be brought in. Then if we get Hanyus, our fourth line suddenly becomes a lot better with that 79 rated centre in there. And then Setaguchi is in an 82 overall, so if we get an 82 overall or 83 big bodied player. JB has actually got a very good face-off rating. Fair enough. Then that could help, and obviously Hansen, Ovechkin and Backstrom as that first line. So our problems can be fixed very easily, but we do need to trade players away before we can sign any players, because we don't have the cap room to sign all the players that we want to. But the players that we want aren't overly expensive, but we do need to trade some players away. So I don't think the players that we need to trade are going to have a spectacular trade value though. So if we're looking at it, Chimera's got none. He's got a contract that we can get rid of. He's got very little trading value, and I don't think he's wanted by too many players. Quite a few teams do want Jason Chimera actually. So that's good. So we can trade him away. Probably won't get a player in return for Chimera, but if we're set on signing Gucci, that's fine. And obviously, Jay Beagle's not going to give us much. So someone like Troy Bauer might have to be sacrificed in terms for some better offense. Do remember we could trade away Brooks Orpik and still sign Jamie McBain just to play alongside Jack Hillen. That would probably make our defense a little bit worse in terms of plus minus, but it helps us if we can get a second line forward for him. Don't really want to throw away any of these players, although I suppose technically Mike Green could be traded. And then if we trade Mike Green, we can play Niskanen and Orpik and sign Jim McBain, and then we could probably get a good centre for Mike Green. So Mike Green might be traded, to be fair. We would have to get the right player back for Mike Green, definitely. Definitely. Marcus Hansen's not going anywhere. Kuznetsov's not going anywhere. We know he gets a lot better. Wilson's got a decent trade value, so perhaps Tom Wilson could go. But he's got 3.5 stars. Wilson could go, I suppose. Don't want to get rid of Brooks Light because I like him as that third line centre, even though he's a left winger, and we don't have any centres to trade. In terms of goalies to trade, we have none either. That's rookie goalies. No, we still don't have any good goalies. Braden Humphrey's our only goalie with a decent overall, and he's not going anywhere. I mean, we could sign Martin Brodeur, Ilya Briscala, but I think we should just keep Braden Holtby. So it's looking like Mike Green, Tom Wilson, and Troy Bauer are the best players to trade because we can get rid of their contracts as well. So that is something we need to keep an eye on. I don't know who I trade back for. I think one of the ideal players I'd like to trade back for is if we go and rob Colorado for Gabriel Landeskog, and then have Landeskog, Backstrom and Ovechkin as the first line, Johansson, Kuznetsov, and a sniper probably, or at least a player with a decent shot on that second line. I'm not going to do any trading in this video, but I just want to see what the values are like. Tell me they want green. They do want green. Those values aren't too far off, but because they don't want to give up Landeskog, we'll probably have to give up something else. What are the salary caps like? We're actually saving money as well. $500,000 if we trade Mike Green for Gabriel Landeskog. And Landeskog's still got about 5 years of getting better. Landeskog's a very good two-way player as well. Yeah, let me know what you think about that trade. Mike Green for Gabriel Landeskog. I think that could go through. That could definitely go through. The type of player we could get for Brooks Orpik. I think someone like Artem Anisimov would be around the same for Brooks Orpik. Or around the value of Brooks Orpik. So Detroit want Orpik. You go ahead and get Nyquist again, possibly. I don't think that trade would go through. But I do like Nyquist. I kind of want to resist trading for Nyquist because I've got him in Phoenix. I want to try out some new players. But someone like, I don't think LA's really got anyone. No. Montreal, has they got anyone worth considering? They got Rene Bourque. So I don't think Brooks Orpik is going to bring much back in return. So it might just be more sensible to hold on to him as our tough defender. Trade Matt Green since we have Matt Niskanen now. I think that's probably the way to go about everything. I mean, we could get... Okay, so the salary's not there, but Brooks Orpik could bring us someone like Carl Hagelund. Then the problem with that, if we trade Green and Orpik somewhere, we're going to need to pick up another defender. And I'm alright with signing McBain from free agency, but then we would need to trade for a defender. And I'm not entirely sure where a good defender would come from. I mean, obviously we can go after CC or Gormley, who we know is going to get good. But it's something to think about. Obviously, Mikhail Bodka would be quite nice to get again. And again, it's another player I've already got on another GM mode. I'm not going to let that solely stop me from buying players. But it is going to factor into it. Patrick Hornquist could be quite nice. Send Orpik back to Pittsburgh for Patrick Hornquist as a second line sniper. Yeah, I quite like the idea of having Hornquist on the second line, to be fair. So there are trading options for these players, which isn't too bad. Quickly, the more aware of you would have noticed just everyone has... Excuse me, I've traded everyone, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly go through all of the teams and show you everyone's new players. So obviously we've got Kessler and Heatley on Anaheim. I'll do it from the lines actually, that'll probably make more sense, because I don't think they would have changed them to how I set them up. These probably aren't the exact lines that are going to be used, obviously they're just the best lines for each team. But if I can find the right place, it should be interesting to see, and we can try and predict who's going to do well this year. So we can start off with Anaheim. Anaheim has obviously got Heatley and Kessler playing, as well as Thompson and LeBlanc come in. I don't think they've got any new defenders. Oh, they got a Carl Stoner who helps out a little bit. Got a heavy defence. But in goal, they only have LaBarbera and Anderson, because they didn't improve anyone's overalls. So Anaheim could struggle with their goalkeeping. Yeah, go on, net minding. Boston are very much unchanged, apart from the fact that Iginla is gone. But I think they will manage. Buffalo have got a lot of changes. Obviously, Molson, Gionta have come in, to name a few on the forward line. And then defensively, obviously, they have Mazzaros, Benoit? Sorry, not Benoit. Yeah, it is Andre Benoit, sorry. Georges, goal contending, they still have Michael Neuwirth. Calgary, we've got Jonas Hiller, but that's the only addition they've really made apart. Well, they've got Mason Raymond to try and make up for Mike Camilleri, but Mike Camilleri is not made up by Mason Raymond. Their defence isn't actually too bad, and they've got Derek Engeland on there as well. Carolina, I picked up Tim Gleason again, which is going to help them out. Forward-wise, I don't think they've signed anyone, and then obviously in goal, they still have Cam Ward. Chicago got Corey Crawford, picked up Brad Richards, and defensively, I don't think they made any change. I think Brad Richards was the major pickup. So Chicago have now actually got a good second line centre, so that makes their second line of Sharp and Versteeg better instantly. Colorado have obviously got a Ginla now, but no Paul Stastny, which is probably not too bad, and then Brad Stewart to help Eric Johnson out a little bit. Obviously Barlam was still in the net. Columbus, RJ Umberger for Scott Hartnell, that's pretty much the only trade they make. Obviously they'll actually have Nathan Horton playing for them this year. Dallas, I've obviously got Jason Spezza and Alice Hemsky. Detroit have lost more players than they've picked up. They've lost Leguan and Alfredson. Edmonton obviously traded away Sam Garnier for Teddy Purcell and picked up Mark Fane and Nikita Nikitin and Benoit Pouliot. Florida, we've got Boland obviously. You see Jokinen as well, Scott Thornton, Willie Mitchell as well, Craig Zanon was another pickup. LA pretty much unchanged. I don't think they signed anyone or lost anyone worth mentioning. Minnesota obviously picked up Vanek in exchange for Molson. That's going to help out Parise to no end. They do have Harding and Baxter in the net. Montreal, we've got Parento. I think that might be the only real pickup worth mentioning, apart from Tom Gilbert. Yeah, that's probably about it. Nashville's obviously got James Neal on their team now, as well as Vorchenkov. New Jersey, I've obviously got Havlat and Camilleri. Good pickups for New Jersey. They're going to start scoring a lot more goals. The Islanders picked up Corey Conacher, and that was about it. Oh no, to be fair, they have got Yaroslav Halak now, so they've got a bit of defensive help, but their defense is still pretty bad, so I'm not expecting anything from them. Rangers, don't think they've picked anyone up. They've got Stepniak and Dan Boyle, actually. Yeah, so the Rangers have gotten better with just picking up Dan Boyle to play alongside Dan Girardi. Ottawa obviously lost Betchev, got leg one, so they're going to be worse, I think. Philadelphia, interesting, because they traded Scott Hartnell for RJ Umberger, and that was one of the only trades they made. But recently they signed Michael Del Zotto, and because I haven't traded any overall, Del Zotto actually comes in and makes their defense and power play quite formidable. So that's interesting. Arizona or Phoenix, obviously they got Sam Gagner now instead of Mike Ribeiro. They've lost Barbado though, so they've not really got any goal scorers. So Phoenix could be having an interesting season. Obviously they still got Smith in cage, I'm sure, and Dubnik actually to back up, so I'm sure they'll be alright. Pittsburgh, Kunitz, Hornquist, Kormos, Downey, Spaulding. So they've made a few trades. Christian Ehrhoff obviously lost Olpik and Niskanen, but that's fine. San Jose didn't do anything apart from sign John Scott, so I'm not going to talk about them. St. Louis, I've obviously got Paul Stastny now, which is going to help. Goalies is interesting for St. Louis, but obviously they have Brodeur and Brizgalov on the free agent market, so there are going to be a few teams chasing them down if they've got the salary cap room, and I imagine St. Louis are going to be in the market for one of those players, as well as, probably Anaheim as well, and yeah, Tampa Bay have got Ben Bishop and Evgeny Nabokov in the cage, so they're pretty set. Signed Brian Boyle and Brendan Morrow, which just helps out their depth, and Jason Garrison helps as well. Toronto got Stefan Robida and Roman Polak, David Booth, Daniel Winnick, Mike Santorelli, and obviously Leo Komarov and Matt Fratton have come back. Vancouver lost Kessler, picked up Vabada. You've lost Booth as well, so Vancouver are worse. Their defence looks quite good still, but obviously the main thing that's going to help Vancouver probably still make the playoffs is Eddie Lack and Ryan Miller. And obviously we have ourselves. And Winnipeg are looking interesting, to be fair. They've got decent depth, but I'm not really sure if they're going to go anywhere with it. So those are the teams. I've already talked about trading Mike Green and Brooks Orpik for Gabriel Landeskog and another player. If probably going to sign Setaguchi and McBain as free agents once we get enough salary cap available. So hopefully we can get the Washington Capitals into the playoffs. I think if we can get Landeskog playing on that first line, Ovechkin is going to be on fire if we can get a 85 overall Landeskog in there with his fellow Super Swede Nicholas Backstrom set up Ovi. Oh, that's going to be insane. And then if we bring in someone to help out Johansson and Kuznetsov on that second line, hopefully a goal scoring centre, that would be very nice as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Plans for this video is I'm going to try and be alternating days, so I'll have Phoenix one day, Washington another game, Phoenix, Washington, with a few extra videos dotted in as extras is the plan for the day. Don't worry, when NHL 15 hits, I'm only going to focus on one GM mode unless you guys enjoy me doing two. Haven't decided yet, but for the run up of NHL 15, I'm trying to keep constant videos going, and this is the easiest way I know how. Hopefully I can make it entertaining for you guys. I hope this one's been entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.